Switch Station 32 here for another video. Today I want to talk about the Nintendo Nindies. I wasn't going to do a video on the Nindies today, but watching it now I have to, because to me it was the best Nindies I've ever seen. Nintendo really blew it away with the Nindies today. I really didn't expect much, and I got a lot. I was pretty excited when I just get done watching them, so I figured I'd get this video done and get it up and tell you guys my opinions of it, because I was pretty excited for it. Now, it starts off back in the 20s or early 30s with a guy, black and white, pouring some milk, and he's telling you about him pouring milk, and you don't really know what's going on. At least I didn't. Maybe some of you guys did, but I didn't. I'm wondering what's going on here. And he puts a mask on, and he's pouring the milk, and he doesn't want to splash it on his face. And then it goes right into Cuphead. Right away, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. Cuphead. Now, there's been a lot of rumors of Xbox Live going to Nintendo Switch, and they didn't announce Xbox Live, but putting Cuphead on there, when you put Cuphead, which is a Microsoft game, on a Nintendo platform, that's a big move by Microsoft, and it shows the working relationship that Microsoft and Nintendo have together. They came out and they said last year, stronger together, and they're proving it, because putting Cuphead on there on a Nintendo Switch, it makes you wonder if Nintendo is going to put their games on Microsoft, on Xbox. I kind of don't think it will pay off as good for Nintendo as it does Microsoft, because Nintendo's big thing is their first party games. They don't have the third party, they have their first party. Where Microsoft is the opposite way. They have the third party, but they don't have their first party exclusives. But people still buy Xbox because it's a powerful system, and they can still play their Call of Duty, they can still play their FIFA, they can still play their Madden on it. On the Switch they can't. But saying that, Cuphead, day one purchase for us. I'm really excited. The hand-drawn art, I don't have an Xbox, so I've been wanting to play Cuphead, and now I'm finally going to get the opportunity to play Cuphead. I love hand-drawn art, if you've seen some of my book reviews. And the whole game is hand-drawn art. I love that about it. It's 1920s hand-drawn art style, the music, everything about Cuphead. It looks amazing. Then they went into a few more smaller games. Overland, it looked okay. It wasn't for me, but then they showed My Friend Pedro. It looked pretty good. A little action shooting based game. You can put it in slow motion so you can slow the enemies down and stuff and fight them. And they do it. That looked kind of cool for My Friend Pedro. Just a small indies game, but it looked alright. Neocab was, for me, I'm not really into that kind of game, but I can see other people liking it, where you drive around a town, you pick people up, and then you get to know these people, and there's probably different characters all throughout the game. It's not a game for me, but I can see other people liking it. Now, the Red Lantern. They went into that, and that looked kind of interesting. I was interested in the Red Lantern, I must say. I've always been interested in the Iditarod. It's something that I've always liked. And for a game to go into the Iditarod, and it goes up to Alaska looking for an adventure, and then you have to go in and do the Iditarod. You have to hunt and do different missions and stuff to feed yourself and take care of yourself. It looked kind of interesting. I have to see more of it to see if it's a game for me, but right now I'm on the fence, and that's a good thing. And then they went into Darkwood, a horror game. I'm not really into these type of games, these little puzzle horror games, but a lot of other people are, and it looked kind of neat, little 16-bit kind of a style going on. It looked alright if you're into that kind of games. A lot of people are. Another game I was interested in, Katana Zero. Now, Katana Zero is you're a little ninja, and you go around, you're fighting and doing different things and fighting different waves of enemies. And then if you lose, it rewinds you back to the first of the stage, and then you figure your way to beat it. And then at the end of the day, you go in and you sit down with your master, and he goes over your flaws or whatever, from what I took away from it. And then he gives you little pointers and stuff, and you go into it the next day, and then you keep going on and on doing your stages like that. Looked kind of cool. Then it went into Creatures of the Wild. This is not a game for me. I'm not into these pinball type games, but it was a a guy where you're in a pinball machine, and the stages are that you're in the pinball machine, and the world is a pinball machine, and you got to do different things inside that. It's not for me, but for anybody else that would like it, maybe somebody might pick it up. Then another interesting game, Pyne, Their Stories Become Yours. Now this game starts off with some animals, and they're getting ready to fight each other. And the story for it looked kind of cool. It didn't show actual gameplay at first, but the world and stuff looked kind of cool, cartoony, and it looked alright. And then it opened up that it's going to be an open world game, and almost like a RPG, and you're going to be able to fight your enemies. They have a health bar. You can craft your weapons and stuff like that. So that game does look pretty cool, and I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for that game and get more information on it, because I might pick that one up. And then they announced a few smaller games. They did Super Crate Box. I'm not really into these kind of games, but a lot of other people really like these kind of games. Just a little small game they can pick up and play for 5 minutes. Nuclear Throne, Alter Bug. They announced Alter Bug. They also said the company that makes that is going to there's going to be more and more games coming out for that SKU. So that was kind of interesting. Now another one that caught my eye was Swimsanity. And it's a multiplayer game, and you can play with up to 4 players at once if you on your Switch at the same time. You don't have to play just multiplayer online, so that was cool. Any game that you can play with friends on your couch is a good game too, because a lot of games are multiplayer, but there's not that many couch multiplayer games, and we need more couch multiplayer games, I will say that. But this game looked half decent. I mean, it is what it is. It's an indies game, but it did catch my eye. And then it went into Blaster Master Zero. And I had Blaster Master Zero when I first bought the Switch. That was one of the first games I bought on it. And I really liked it. It was a throwback to the old NES game, Blaster Master. That's what it was. Supposed to be the sequel to Blaster Master. And then this one is Blaster Master Zero 2. So the second Blaster Master, and you're going to get new weapons, and showed quite a bit of gameplay of it, and it looked pretty good. I must say that I'll probably be picking that one up too. They announced Stranger Things, and for me and my fiance, Stranger Things are one of our favorite shows. I really like Stranger Things. I can't wait for season 3 to come out, and then it's coming on the Switch. The fiance was telling me just as soon as she saw it, she's like, we got to get that day one. And that's what we're going to do. I love Stranger Things. And then they announced that it's coming out the same day that Season 3 is releasing, so that was even more cool. I really like that. It made you think the Nindies is going to be over, and then it announced one more game, and this is the game that really blew it up. The best Nindies Direct I've ever seen. Cuphead being the way they started it, which was huge, saying a Microsoft game, a first-party Microsoft game, on the Nintendo Switch, and then end it with this. Cadence of Hyrule. Now I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Right away I said, this looks like a Zelda game. The music's a little off, but it sounds like Zelda, and it plays like Zelda. And then it keeps going, the bad guys are Zelda, and then all of a sudden it is Zelda in this game. And that blew my mind. I couldn't believe they were getting 2 Zelda games in 1 year. And it looked pretty cool. It's a throwback to the Super Nintendo. I really liked the Super Nintendo Zelda. Link to the Past was probably one of my favorite Zelda games. Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past, Breath of the Wild. 3 of my favorite games of all time. And to have a game that throws back to Link to the Past was amazing. I really, really like that game. I mean, it's Zelda in this other world, but to me, that's the best Nindies Direct ever. I don't think that you'd see a better Direct than that for the Nindies. So I had to make this video. I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to tell you guys my opinion of it, and how excited I am for those 2 games, Cuphead, this new Zelda game. If you guys are excited for these 2 games too, let me know in the comments, and if you could leave a like and a subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. Switch Station 32 here for another video.